Exactly.
Is this riveting?
No.
Do people want to
No, we need to do better.
Oh, shit.
Kick us off.
It's super fun learning about new things, reading studies. Like, once you actually learn how to read them, they're really fascinating and what you can glean from them and then take away in your life. Because there's a bunch of lofty things that come out of these studies that you don't know what to do with, but once you know how to disseminate it, you kind of understand scientific language and study designs and stuff, and I'm getting deep into studies right now.
Well,
You can pull some of it and be like, oh, maybe I should eat more fucking cilantro in a day.
also enter Zach and Mojan, people who go out and are reading these studies, digesting this information, and trying to bring it to you in a way that is fairly easy to comprehend. They're very tangible, progressive steps that you can start to incorporate. I really like the expression we've been tossing around a lot, which is don't try to eat the whole horse at once, do it bite, 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 right? A lot of things are really intimidating when it's this like big monolithic goal, but when we kind of like, okay, baby steps, just start, just do the first thing. And honestly, perfection's the enemy of the good if you're like us and have that perfection mindset. And if you're a person who gets things done just super quick, and you also remember cheap pays twice. Finding balance. I mean, we will say that a lot, is finding balance in so much of what you do. How much time and effort you put into it, how much enjoyment you get out of it. Being kind of mindful of, your time is your most valuable, precious asset, and life goes by way quicker than any of us want. Which also brings us back to the huge health component of this, is like, we don't just want a long lifespan, we want a long health span. We want to be functional throughout our lives. We want to be able to enjoy the things in life, especially as, we work, we build ourselves up, we build our community, we want to go out and continue to enjoy these things at, age 30, learning new hobbies, picking up diving, like constantly expanding your horizons. It's about being able to back that up and do it in a healthy way where it's sustainable, Same reason I shied away from playing rugby for longer, because I like my knees,
Quite attached to them.
Yeah, well, it's like everything kind of takes a toll.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's why I'm hoping I'll be free diving into my 70s. It was like fairly low impact. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't turn all the ocean water into poison by then.
That's also going to happen.
We've done it with the rainwater, so tip of the hat, wag of the finger, human race.
There's going to be a lot of me not looking at the camera, which I don't know if is at the top of that side thingy or the bottom of the side thingy, but hey, I'll just do better next time. We are taking all the stuff that we're learning, that we're trying, that we have experimented, that we found success in, and sharing it with others, hopefully in a way that's really easily digestible. Frankly, for nearly the past decade, I've made a career out of communicating, and typically complex or frustrating, I'll say, information, and putting it in a format that's easier to understand and that makes it easy to, get trained or learn something or try something or incorporate it into your life.
Well, and also being engaging, right? I mean, this day and age, we've got so much stimulation, and it's easier than ever. And a lot of it also, it brings some extra depth to it, right? You want to see success in what you're being advocated to do, right? If we can't demonstrate that these things are successful in our own lives, why would anyone want to join us in this journey? And it's not just a matter of preaching. Like, I would like this to get to the point where we are actually joining into that community of people who are in so many ways doing better, whether it is fiscally, in their own health, some of their spiritual development, just across a broad range of things, where essentially it's just embodying that growth mindset, embracing change, learning from failures, and sharing that so that we can all do better.
Totally.
I mean, that's the takeaway, right? It's about a rising tide, raising all ships. Just because one of us is able to find these things doesn't mean that everyone can't benefit. And honestly, I believe it's very collaborative in that the more everyone benefits, the better off we are collectively going to be.
Totally.
You know, we have one planet that we are sharing amongst every living being. It is kind of been getting worse lately. We are also at a stage, I think, of like societal development where it's growing pains. Mm-hmm. We don't have the things like the lead line pipes so commonly anymore that kill us off within our lifetimes, you know, send people to an early grave. Now where I feel like it is the things that have reduced our health span versus our lifespan. We're continuing to learn about it. Some countries, nations are doing better than others. Looking at you, Japan, kicking ass and taking names. But generally speaking, an embodiment of overall wealth and, health, which, I mean, intrinsically I think are so linked, as a mindset that I think our counterparts in the EU do a better job of both regulating and pushing for. But yeah, essentially it's, you know, what can we learn, what can we share, and then hopefully what can people share with us?
Well, it's like a community thing, right? Like the most amount of development and growth and evolution I've ever had is sharing it with other people, hearing about their experiences like this, but also growing with them, right? Like Zach and I talk about it all the time. What have you discovered in terms of like food and diet stuff that's really helped you out? Oh, I tried this yesterday and it's like not good for me, or I've tried that, or I've tried that. It's just so much collaborative evolution that I think is beautiful. And I'm just the extreme extrovert, but like still that is something that I crave and I want, and I hope that this is just another way to maybe reach more people, or people that I wouldn't meet outside.
That's the thing, right? We all are separated by often time and space, but the miracles of the internet kind of allow us to reach out and get to know people that we wouldn't otherwise when we're traveling, regardless of where we live in the world. Because, you know, if you live somewhere and it's a big enough somewhere, hey, you might find some people that you really align with, but that can be tough. And sometimes you really have to transcend some of those geographic boundaries. Let's be honest, everyone coming from things, and we'll talk about like culture like a lot, we have already in our shorts, very interesting cultural practices and why they might be really powerful for us. Diversity, exactly. Tea time. The diversity of knowledge that people have and can bring, you know, diversity of perspective breeds a lot of innovation. One person's idea of what's actually a problem might be a solution for someone else, or an entirely non-issue if you just think about or frame something in a different way. That, I think, is the really powerful thing about group collaborative efforts.
Well, I mean, if that doesn't give you a little bit of insight of the kind of things that we'll be touching on, because it's not just, hey, do better personal development. It's that, and we do talk about things like doing better fiscally, doing better in your career, doing better in interpersonal relationships, doing better with food, with health, with wellness, with spirituality, with mindset. All of these different things, because fundamentally, as much as humans would love and do compartmentalize things because it's easier to understand, the truth is you are this beautiful, complex being that is probably annoying to yourself on a daily basis in many ways, but we are complex and we're doing 1,000,001 things at once. It's something that we address in all of these different ways that just adds to our overall wellness. You can't just focus on one thing and just have it be that. It's like if my arms were the only part of my body that grew. Yeah. How ridiculous would that be? The rest wouldn't be able to support it. It's fundamentally, that's what it is. It's rising tides as a community, as a whole, and then it's rising tides in your own life and the different areas of growth and evolution that you can go through that you also have freaking control over.
Absolutely. And I think in that spirit of collaborative growth, to me, a huge part of it, of having someone to go through something with, someone to go on this journey with, is the accountability aspect, which is somebody to help push you. I don't know about everyone, but I like a little bit of competition, not in a bad way, you know, everything in life's perspective. You can look at that as I'm spurned and I'm angry by somebody doing better than me, or you can look at it as, wow, I'm really excited that that person's doing well, and hopefully somewhere in the middle where it actually inspires you and you're like, oh wow, like I see that person doing something to the best of their ability or in a way that I aspire to be able to embody myself, and I'm gonna take those steps. And oftentimes, you know, it's easy for a lot of stuff to fall by the wayside in life. And so having somebody who actually helps drive you, whether it's through a little bit of friendly competition or as an inspiration or what have you, you know?
Totally. I mean, we do that for each other all the time.
It's a cheeky name. Have you tried just doing better instead of sucking at this thing.
It's a part of the fun, you know, like growing and evolving and doing all these things isn't just about grinding and working and like wearing yourself down. In fact, I think that's the wrong way to do it, actually. If I'm not enjoying it and I'm not feeling the joy and the benefit and the improvement of it in a positive way, I don't understand why I'm doing it.
It's not going to reinforce itself, right?
No.
Like if it's always just a grind, unless you have the most tremendous, inhuman levels of willpower, it's not going to get you there unless you can honestly bring some joy from it. And some people, that joy is enough from achieving their goals. But I think there's this trap that people fall into when they start to set goals. Well, two. One, their goals and the benchmarks they use for them become malaligned with where they're actually trying to get to. So you basically end up working to optimize a benchmark and not where you're actually trying to go. You're losing sight of your goal. And then the other part of it, life's short. You know, if you don't enjoy the process, don't enjoy the journey, you know, you've got these little blips, if you're good at it, where you can celebrate. And the problem with being often ambitious is as soon as you hit that next level, you accomplish your goal, well, you've already planned ahead. You're thinking about your next goal, what you want to accomplish after that. I like the expression, comparison's the thief of joy. You know, you look into it and you don't take that time to celebrate it. You don't take that time to embody it. I know, like, we've talked a lot about it, of, like, we need to celebrate our victories more.
Yeah.
Culturally, it's something that, I don't know, as Canadians, doesn't seem to be super prominent compared to some of, you know, the cultures of our friends. And we want to bring that in. I mean, that to me is the benefit of the worldliness. It's the like, oh, we can celebrate these things. We can be really proud of these things, these accomplishments, these goals. Not just achieving them, but also the progress along the way. Because sometimes things take a while, and it's really easy to get defeated when you're not seeing the kind of progress you want. But understanding and being kind to yourself, understanding that making progress towards that along the way is you doing the thing, you know?
The one bite of horse at a time. You'll finish it.
Eventually you'll get there.
You'll finish it. Turn it into meatballs. Go IKEA style.
Oh, those things are... I wish I could eat those. So, God, don't even get me started. It's going to get better from here as we practice up some, but I want people to want to come on a journey of growth and development with us, of getting a lot from this. You know, lots of practical, pragmatic tips that they can apply, big or small, to their life. Whether you are, you know, a young professional, whether you are enjoying the retired life, whether you are a young working parent, you know, a stay-at-home mom, no matter what, everyone's going to have insane time pressures in their lives, some more than others, and I think there's going to be something you can pull from it. You know, whether it's the very short little, hey, these are little tidbits that are helpful, to the longer, let's really get in depth. Let's talk about how glutathione impacts your brain. Let's talk about how structural changes in your neurochemistry affect you and how you've developed. Let's talk about cultural practices that may have persisted because of evolutionary pressures and their benefit.
Why not? All of that. More. I don't know. What do people on YouTube do? Like and subscribe.
Yes, and at the end
Press
of the day,
the bell button.
Just do better.
Just do better. This is where we stop, right? Oh, okay. Bye.